I'm on the phone with Lance Loveday, CEO at Closed Loop, a seasoned web professional, been around for a number of years in the search and the web marketing space. Lance, good afternoon, and thanks for agreeing to the interview.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Lance, you've been a web professional for a number of years now. We're on the cusp of 2014. What trends are you seeing in the web profession?
It's interesting. I'm seeing both increased specialization and the need for that, just because the industry is growing so much, but also an increasing acknowledgement that people have to be more well-rounded and have to have good communication skills and really the ability to think broadly and more strategically and understand their contribution in the overall digital experience and value delivery process. So I think it's a natural maturing of an industry that started with a bunch of people working on their own, and now any large project requires a team, and to work well on a team, you've got to be able to work well with other people and have good communication skills. So I think it's a natural evolution and a healthy thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, the web has grown up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So specialization, of course, is important, but also having a broad-based understanding of all the web technologies and various resources obviously makes sense. You stated that.
Mm-hmm.
Relative to the search space, since that's where you spend a fair amount of your time, do you have any thoughts on what the trends are today in search?
It's funny. There's a desire, I think, for companies to want to get beyond search, but it's sort of like you hear every year is the year of mobile, and maybe this is finally it. Every year you hear that this is the death of search, but it has yet to actually happen. So search continues to dominate the online advertising landscape, and it's still, I think, a solid half of online advertising revenue. So at some level, it's business as usual and continued growth, but we're also seeing new areas of opportunity in what has traditionally been the search space. So you're seeing AdWords branch out and create additional targeting capabilities that are not search-based, it's not keyword-based, but they're proving to be really almost as effective as search. And so some of the recent things Google's done with similar audience targeting, we're seeing great success with that. I mean, obviously, retargeting, I think that's been pretty well documented and it's well understood. So you're seeing the growth of, these search platforms, but in ways that aren't purely just search anymore. And so that's a definite trend we're seeing.
Go into that a little bit. What does that mean exactly? Is that monetization, increased sales, both? I mean, how would you define that?
Well, it depends on whose perspective you're looking at it from. So, Google wants to continue to grow, right? And they had this goose that laid the golden egg with, this advertising platform that resulted in a win for everybody. Because of a high level of searcher intent, they were able, and a high level of targeting capability for advertisers and an auction-based system such that advertisers only paid what it was actually worth for them. They created this ecosystem where the searcher won because they got relevant content. The advertiser won because they got highly motivated, highly qualified traffic to their site. And obviously Google won because they were getting that cost per click revenue. So they built this thing that became a juggernaut and multi-billion-dollar industry and company. And then they started to ask themselves, rightly, okay, well, gosh, how do we keep this going? And at some point, search volumes have to taper off. And I don't know that they have, quite honestly, yet. But CPCs have started to moderate a little bit. And so Google looks for other ways to take that same, what I think of as that same philosophy of, creating this win-win scenario for everyone and find other ways of targeting advertising that were hopefully, close to as effective as they were able to get with search. And it took them a lot of years, honestly, to find one. And, they had a number of what I would consider failed attempts at that, but more recently, I think they've found some, and the numbers seem to support that there are additional forms of targeting beyond search that are almost as effective, and that's an increasing. I think it's going to be an increasing percentage of Google's overall revenue, even if they don't break it out that way. We're seeing that trend play out in terms of client spend. The search pie might be shrinking a little bit, but the overall.
Can you give some examples of that?
Sure. So retargeting is a pretty popular targeting mechanism. So someone visits our client's website today, but they don't make a purchase. Yet when they visit that site, because we've placed a tag on the client's site, a cookie gets dropped on that user's browser, such that when they go to another site, and wherever they go in their online travels, just about, they then can be targeted with an ad based on the presence of that cookie that we dropped on their browser that encourages them to come back to our client's site. So a lot of people experience that now. You see ads from sites you visited previously in your online travels, and that's just a form of retargeting. And it's been proven to be extremely effective. It's driven great results for advertisers.
Yeah, I appreciate that. How effective exactly has that been?
It depends on industry and advertiser, but in some cases it's been wildly effective. In some cases it's had the kinds of returns that even beat what we've had historically for search, which generally is the highest ROI online advertising vehicle for a lot of companies in terms of outbound marketing, at least. So or media-based marketing. So it's a game changer for some companies.
Fascinating. And so, how would you position that to a client? What's the moniker? Is it redirected advertising? I mean, how are you positioning that?
It's interesting. A lot of clients are vaguely aware of it, but the way we position it is we just bundle it in with our search engine marketing services. And some clients honestly aren't even aware that we're doing it. We just build it in and start doing it. And then until we start reporting out to them, because we report it out separately. We say, all right, here are your results from search or keyword targeted advertising, and then here are your results for retargeting. Those are separate campaigns, and we report out on them individually. And at that point, sometimes they'll ask, hey, well, what is that? What is retargeting? And then we'll explain it to them and go, wow, okay, I didn't know we were doing that. So for us, we found the easiest way to do it is just to do it and test it.
Yeah.
And if it works, keep it live and let the client know. And
I appreciate that. So really, the technology and of course the technique, if you will, has been in existence for a while, but. So the trend really is that you're seeing real returns on investment, and clients are starting to really get it and like it. Would that be a fair?
It is, and you're seeing it, adopted by an increasing number of advertisers. And I do worry about reaching a saturation point, and maybe we're there already in some industries or for some users who, and I experience it myself. I mean, I travel around to different websites, and it seems like I'm seeing ads from a lot of the same companies now because so many of them are using retargeting.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, thank you for your insight on that, sir. Lance, all the things that you do for the web profession, your continued support for the webprofessionals.org organization with your annual summaries and insights for the future, and most definitely for your time today.
Of course. Thank you, Bill. Thanks for all you do.